At night, the world isn't as quiet as you think. Somewhere, behind closed doors, there are stories no one dares to tell. Those who've lived through them, they never forget, and when they speak, you'll understand why. These are true stories, but remember sometimes, reality is far scarier than anything you could imagine. I'm a resident doctor at Royal Manchester Hospital. I work the night shift, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. After 3 years here, I thought I'd seen it all. Difficult patients, emergency cases, and that cold, heavy stillness that settles over the hospital after dark. But I was wrong. November 15th, my last night shift before transferring to another hospital. The night, that changed everything. It started normally. A few coughs, a broken bone, one drunk patient. Then, at 1:30 a.m., head nurse Sarah came to me. Dr. Thompson, we have a new patient in room 237. You should come now. Room 237 was at the very end of the general ward, a place almost silent at night. When I walked in, I saw him. An old man, maybe 80, lying in bed, breathing, like every inhale was a battle. His skin was pale, his eyes cloudy. What's his condition? I asked Sarah. Came in at 1 a.m., no family, no ID, just a folded paper, with the name Alfred Whitmore, and an old address. I checked his vitals, weak pulse, low blood pressure, body temperature, far below normal. But the smell was worse. Damp earth, old, heavy, like a grave. I leaned closer. Mr. Whitmore, can you hear me? Slowly, those eyes turned to me. His lips moved, but no sound. Sarah, prepare an IV and warm blankets. She left the room. Silence pressed in. Only his ragged breathing. Then, a whisper, so faint. I thought I imagined it. I leaned in. They are waiting for me. Who's waiting for you? I asked. My family. Dead, long ago. Sarah returned. When I took his hand, I froze, skin like ice. When the needle went in, the blood was thick, dark, almost black. Doctor, is this even blood? Sarah whispered. Before I could answer, his hand gripped my wrist, hard, too hard for someone so frail. Don't leave me alone. They'll come. When I'm alone, who will come? Mary, my wife, died 50 years ago, still waits for me. At 3 a.m., the temperature dropped. Our breath turned white. The window creaked from the cold. She's here, Alfred whispered. I looked toward the corner of the room and froze. A woman stood there, old white dress, long, loose hair, face hidden in shadow. But her eyes, black, bottomless. Sarah, do you see her? I asked. Sarah turned and went pale. Doctor, who is that? The figure began to move. No sound, gliding closer, the smell of wilted flower and damp soil filled the air. Mary! Alfred's voice cracked. You waited so long. She stopped by the bed. Skin, grey-blue, lips sealed shut. A voice, cold, inhuman, filled the room, though her mouth never moved. Alfred, it's time to come home. I know, he breathed. I've waited too long. Mary placed her hand on his forehead. The monitor screamed. Heartbeat dropping. We can be together forever. I love you, Mary. Flatline. 3:17 a.m. Alfred Whitmore was gone. Mary smiled, teeth black as coal. She looked at us, nodded, and faded away. The room warmed again. As we prepared his body, I found a photo in his pocket. A young couple. The man, Alfred. The woman, Mary. On the back, faded ink read, Alfred and Mary Whitmore, wedding day 1963. Records showed Mary died in 1973. Alfred never remarried. But the nursing home told me Alfred had died a week ago. So, who did we treat that night? Since then, I've never worked another night shift, but sometimes, passing room 237, I smell wilted flowers. And on nights when the moon is full, I swear, I see two figures standing by the window, holding hands. Maybe true love never dies. I never believed a cabin could be haunted. I believed in warped floorboards from damp weather, in rusty pipes, in drafts slipping through old window frames. But the winter I spent in Vermont was different. I was 28, self-employed, fresh off a brutal work deadline. I wanted to shut my phone off for a few days, find somewhere cheap and quiet. The first listing I saw was Harriman Lake Resort, a row of cabins built in the 1970s, now only 3 still in use. The owners, an elderly couple, lived in the main house about 200 meters away. They handed me the key to cabin 3. "Gas heater," the woman said plainly. "Water's from the well. If you need towels, knock at the main house." She hesitated, then added just as casually, "Oh, and if you hear knocking at night, don't open the door." She said it like telling me to take the trash out on Thursdays. I just smiled and nodded. Last night, it was minus 10 degrees. Wind knifed across the frozen lake, rattling dry leaves like sandpaper. Cabin 3 sat apart from the other 2, its back pressed against a wall of black pine. Inside, the air smelled of old wood and faint chimney smoke. Warm, but with a sharp edge, like wool sweaters shut in a closet too long. A single bed against the window, a small wooden table, 2-burner gas stove, a dull steel kettle, a cramped bathroom, an old radio. I dropped my bag, turned the heater up, and wiped the dust from the table. The wood felt cold and rough under my hand. One corner had a perfect round dent, the kind left by years of setting down a hot mug. I boil water for tea. Steam fogged the window. The first sip brought the faintest metallic thread across my tongue. Barely there, but enough to make me frown. Well water, I told myself. I diluted it with bottled water until it was almost gone. Night fell quickly. No stars, just a heavy iron-grey sky. While I read, the porch let out a slow creak, like someone shifting their weight on the boards. I opened the door. Cold air rushed in, bringing the faint smell of iron. No new footprints in the snow, only mine from earlier blurred by wind. I shut the door, stoked the heater, and heard the soft whoosh as the flame caught. I slept fine, until 1:15 a.m. 3 knocks. Not loud, not soft, evenly spaced like a metronome. I lay still, listening. The wind outside had stopped. The cabin was so quiet I could hear the wood contracting in the cold. 3 knocks again. I peeked through the curtain. The porch was empty. No moon. Snow faint as sifted flour. I didn't open the door. Morning. A faint damp mark curved across the bedroom windowsill, shaped like half a handprint. I pressed my own hand to it. It didn't match. Smaller. Like a teenager's. Or smaller still. Condensation, I told myself. Just condensation. Day 2. By afternoon, the kitchen smelled faintly of black tea. But when I poured it into the mug, that tang again. Stronger this time. I sipped. The taste of rust bloomed across my tongue, matted and bitter. I set the mug down, rinsed my mouth with bottled water, said aloud, "Well water," just to hear my own voice in the empty room. That night, I propped my phone against the shoe rack. Camera aimed straight at the front door. Time-lapse mode. I wanted proof the knocking was nothing more than a tree branch. Night 2, 1:14 a.m. Nothing. 1:15. A figure appeared pressed up against the frosted glass, tall, thin, head tilted slightly forward. It didn't move. For 27 seconds it stayed like that. Then it was gone. Not walking away, not turning back. Just fading, like mist. The microphone picked up nothing. No wind, no snow, no footsteps. I replayed it over and over, heartbeat climbing into my throat. That night I locked both the latch and the bolt, and still, I could feel it. A presence. Like the entire cabin was listening to me breathe. Night 3. I drifted off close to 1. Wind changed direction, sweeping through the pines like far-off surf. I dreamt I was sitting in the cabin, watching someone else sitting opposite me at the wooden chair. But whenever I tried to see their face, the kitchen light would flicker, and the face would smear away, like it had been rubbed out. I woke to cold, a damp breath against my cheek, as if someone stood inches from me. I turned the lamp on. Empty. But the floorboard beside my bed sagged just slightly, as if bearing someone's weight. The heater was still on. The thermometer read 70 degrees. My skin prickled anyway. In the kitchen, the mug from last night still sat on the table. I lifted it. Blood. Or at least the smell and taste of it. Sharp. Metallic. I forced myself to sip, just to be sure. The iron taste clamped down on my tongue. I spat into the sink. The water swirled dark red for a heartbeat before disappearing. From the drain came a sound, like fingernails scraping along the inside of the pipes. I turned the well valve off, tight, like sealing a thought you didn't want to finish. Decision. I wasn't spending another night here. I packed, left my suitcase by the door, texted the owner, leaving early tomorrow. No reply. 1:15 a.m. 3 knocks. I froze. Then a whisper right against the wood. Open. I backed away, palms damp. Silence. Then 3 knocks again. From the bedroom window this time. I looked. On the frosted glass, a perfect round patch, the size of a forehead. Below it, a small handprint, smudged in dust. I didn't go closer. I sat on the bed. The old radio crackled, catching a signal from somewhere, then losing it again. The door. I didn't wait for morning. I lifted my suitcase, unlatched the locks, pulled the door open. The porch groaned, and wasn't the porch anymore. No steps, no night sky, just a room of complete darkness, thick with the smell of damp earth and something metallic. The ground outside wasn't wood. It was soft, like waterlogged soil. I stepped back instinctively, suitcase catching on the threshold. From the darkness, a voice, low, ragged, as if spoken through frozen metal, breathed, "Stay! Someone else will check out for you." The door slammed. The bolt clicked, as if turned from the outside. The lights flickered, then steadied. I stayed awake until the first gray light touched the curtains. Morning 9 a.m. I unlatched the door, the porch, the lake, the cold air. Everything perfectly normal. The window was locked. The handprint was gone. The camera I'd set up? Missing. My phone, still fully charged, had an empty gallery. No videos, no audio. I dropped the key off. The owner was shoveling snow. Her hands were red from the cold. Her face, unreadable. "I'm leaving today," I said. "There's something wrong with the water. And at night there..." "I know," she cut in. "I told you. Don't open the door at night." "I didn't. The door just..." I stopped. Even to me, my voice sounded weak. She set the shovel down, looked toward cabin 3. The last guest there last winter. she said slowly. Never checked out. We searched all night. The woods, the lake. Nothing. Just footprints circling the porch, coming very close to the door, then gone. I didn't ask anything else, and I didn't tell her about the room with no porch. Later, 2 months later, an email from Airbnb reminded me to leave a review. The page for cabin number 3 Lakeside was gone. Reason: host account suspended due to safety concerns. I pulled it up on Google Maps. The resort was still there. Black pines still standing. Lake still gray and round as a coin. Cabin 1, Cabin 2, roofs clearly visible. Cabin 3's spot, empty. Satellite image blurred with snow, but even scrolling back through older shots. There was never a structure there. Some nights, when winter wind pushes against my balcony door, I think I hear it. 3 soft knocks, spaced like a metronome. I tell myself it's the pipes, or metal expanding in the cold, anything that can be explained. I changed my kettle, stopped drinking tea at night, and when I wake between sleep and waking, feeling a cold breath at my cheek, sharp, with the faintest taste of iron, my little radio will sometimes catch a burst of static. In that brief second, I hear a whisper, far away, from a room I will never open at night. Open it. I don't open any door before morning. And if anyone asks, I'll still say, cabins aren't haunted. Some places just don't want you to leave. And some have last guests who never learn how to check out.